The Gabby Patito mystery continues.
Was she murdered to cover up a murder?
Let's talk about it, y'all. Middle America. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Vin in the house.
Sorry here.
Okay, and we are covering the Gabby Patito situation. Unfortunately, the FBI has confirmed that the body that they had seen, where they had initially said it was consistent with her, they've now come out and said that it is Gabby. So we can now officially say rest in peace to her. Obviously, there are a lot of angles with this story. We generally don't do the whole true crime situation, but I do think there's elements of this story that do speak to the current zeitgeist as far as America goes. Mm-hmm. I've been observing a lot of the reactions to this, and the racial angle really is taking center stage here. A lot of people are saying, hey, there's a bunch of Native people. I've got a Native guy in here right now. Native people, I mentioned it in the other video. What about all the Native people that are missing? Won't care about them. African American women, that type of thing. Definitely see that as a valid issue for sure. However, we can do both. We can mourn over the loss of this beautiful person, and we can also say we need to do better. Not only for women of color, but just the way women are treated in general.
Yeah.
I think is a larger issue. So definitely I see it. I understand it. My vantage point, and everybody knows, like, I have no problem, talking about race and racial disparities in America. But at the same time, at the end of the day, we're all bleeding blood red, right? And so definitely understand it, definitely see it as an issue, and who knows, maybe we'll try to do something to bring more awareness to women who end up missing, because at minimum Gabby, at least representationally, speaks for a lot of women in this country who, for whatever reason, end up missing, and for some reason it just doesn't seem to matter to folks. Okay. Sorry about last night. I got caught up with the. Don't worry about it, Applejack. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. No sweat. Okay. So having said that, we're gonna get right into the second part of this. One of the things that is really interesting to me about this situation is the following, and you kind of saw it on the thumbnail. I'm hoping you guys can see it now. This couple right here were actually murdered. Both of these ladies, rest in peace to them. But these ladies were married. Store worker Kylan Shute and her wife Crystal Turner, 38, were found dead. Both of them were found with gunshot wounds to the head.
Oh my God. Yeah, they owned that store?
Yeah, and there was a co-op. The co-op was, it was called Manflower Co-op, where people get together and work, Moonflower, sorry. Oh, and they share capital and all this.
How
they
cute.
worked there. So Gabby and Brian worked at this co-op. Mm-hmm. And apparently they had some sort of explosive fight or altercation at that place. And then these two ladies ended up dead. So somebody had mentioned that in the previous video, and I said I would go and check it out to make sure that was valid. And sure enough, that's true. And here's another thing. It said they had texted friends that a man had allegedly been creeping them out.
Yeah, but wouldn't they have said, if they were texting their friends and this was Gabby's boyfriend, wouldn't they have said, no, this couple was having a fight. The guy keeps coming around. He's really creeping us out.
I don't know.
I mean,
it's possible. But you can't say for sure.
I know.
Go ahead,
okay, yeah. I mean, you can't know for sure.
So one of the.
I don't know why people wouldn't give more details if those were available, unless it was a random guy.
Well, when you're texting and you're scared, you know what I'm saying? Like, that makes sense to me. I don't think that she would necessarily need to have like an entire biography of the person. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I didn't know they were texting when it was happening.
That's interesting. People are saying the stream is down. Doesn't look like it to me. Okay, we'll continue. So that right there is an issue for me. Like, you're at this place, you have this giant fight, the girl's call concerned, and then these two women end up dead, and then he's got, marks on his face and all the rest of it. It looks weird. It looks like, and we're gonna cover the body cam video soon, but like, it just looks like there's a lot of tension, a lot of duress, and it looked like they were both really kind of like trying to cover for each other. Almost, it looked like the way that we were talking on the dash cam. We're gonna watch the dash cam video in like 2 seconds, but go ahead. What are you thinking? Because you've got a really interesting look on your face there. Go ahead.
Well, that's because I'm trying to process where you're going with this. So you're saying, I'm thinking if he has scratches on his face, and it has to do with him, killing these two women,
right?
Then under their fingernails will have his DNA. That's very simple, right?
Yeah, but I don't. Well, the thing is, it's very hard. It would be very hard to prove because they're going to say, well, yeah, I mean, they worked with each other, so obviously there's going to be some interplay with DNA.
No. Whoa, wait a minute.
They
Gabby and her boyfriend worked with these two women?
Yes, that's what I was trying to tell you. They work together at the co-op.
Okay, well then that's even more weird why they would say this guy is creeping us out. Why wouldn't they say this guy I work with is creeping me out?
I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen the text at all.
Okay. Well.
But no, I hear what you're saying, and this is all it's all speculative. But to me,
weird.
But to me, it's like these two ladies. So this guy is connected to 3 dead women. He was working at Moonflower. The two ladies end up dead, and then within 7 days, his girl ends up dead. It's I mean, at minimum, and like I said before.
So did they know that their coworkers were dead?
Who is they?
Gabby, you said 7 days before she landed dead.
Well,
her coworkers got killed?
Again, this is all speculative. What I'm saying is, after the coworkers were killed, Gabby was killed, within 7 days of them being dead. Oh, and what I'm saying is the only common denominator between those 3 women is him. Now, I came on here yesterday saying, hey, innocent until proven guilty, blah, 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 blah. And I'm still going to say that. I'm just saying it's very, very disturbing that within the span of, 2 weeks or whatever, you've got 3 dead women and you got this guy, and he, as soon as he gets home, and I also confirmed this because somebody else had said this, and I was like, well, we gotta wait to confirm it. But I did confirm it via the New York Post that he hired a lawyer 1 September as soon as he got home.
That's not weird to me.
Well, it is.
That's not weird to me.
What it does indicate, though, is that he knows that something happened.
Well,
his girl was missing. He came home without her, and then the first thing he does is get a lawyer. That's not strange to you?
Well,
like if Dorian...
No, I see what you're saying, but the thing is, there's a couple things, right? So they got pulled over by the cops, and they had this long interaction with the cops, and then all of a sudden she goes missing. In the video, she looks very distressed, and so if she's... So I don't even like... So part of me doesn't even know why I'm doing this video. It's a very difficult topic, and I don't want to feel like that we're playing the game Clue, and this is a person's life.
Yes,
this is somebody's daughter.
Well, there are multiple.
So young.
It's multiple persons, right? Because this is the other thing. Like,
right. There's
a lot of focus on Gabby, but the 2 people in the thumbnail picture were also murdered.
No, I know.
In the same area, or approximately the same time. We're talking about Gabby. I think part of it is, she's a social media person already, so she already has an established following. So
yeah,
I think like if you went missing, it would be different than if a regular woman went missing. You know what I'm saying?
For sure, yeah, of course.
But my thing is, there are multiple people here who died. So these women, at minimum, at least need to be accounted. You know what I'm saying? They needed to be accounted for. Rest in peace to them. Somebody put out.
I guess what I'm trying to. What?
So let me make a connection real quick. and a couple people already
Yeah,
pointed
that's
this
what
out.
I thought,
I'm not.
Isabel.
Yeah, the
I didn't think they
article.
worked
The article
there.
does not say. Shout out to Amy Lee Forever. The article does not say that they worked at the moon place.
She
It
did
says
say that she was a
they-
nutritionalist and she worked at a nutrition bar, which fits that place,
Well,
right?
it would explain. They're on this road trip. It would explain why they would stop there.
It explains, yeah.
Right? It explains why they would stop there. So they didn't work there. So then my creepy guy thing goes back into play. So they weren't working there. They didn't work there. It was just a road trip, and they ended up there. Then she calls her friends and says, "Hey, there's this weird guy," and then they both end up dead with gunshot wounds to the head. Right? So he comes home, and then he immediately lawyers up. That's just, again, that doesn't mean. Here's what it means to me. At minimum, what it means is he knows what happened.
No.
It doesn't mean, in my mind, it doesn't mean he's guilty.
He
It
knows
doesn't mean
something, but I don't know if he knows what happened. Okay, for instance, you saw how
Why would
distressed
you
she
lawyer
was.
up? Why would you lawyer up?
Listen. You saw how distressed she was, right? When he was interacting, I can't. I'm not good at people reading. So he looked to me like he reminded me of
Who? Yep.
Okay, so
Yeah,
his demeanor, his personality, the way that he like was maneuvering things, reminded me of that person. And I think that person's a very nice person. I could be wrong. All of a sudden, they could turn into a psychopath. I don't really know.
No, I think he's a good dude.
Okay, so when I'm looking at that guy, I feel like, well, I don't know. So let's just say,
it's got to be a good dude.
let's say that they were having this. He said in the body cam, which we'll get. Maybe we should just get into that. I don't know.
We'll get to it at some point.
But anyway, he was saying in that they were having a fight. She says she's OCD and that she gets mean when she's OCD, and so she was like kind of being like, I get a little frustrated, but I do know how that feeling of when stuff is not lined up
100%.
and how agitated I feel.
Yeah.
And she looks like she's much more severe at like needing things a certain way than I am. For instance,
that was another thing that I really wanted to get on was the mental health aspect as well.
There's a huge.
That's why I'm saying there's a lot of moving parts to this story that I think are important, which I believe precipitated what ended up happening. But go ahead.
Okay, so one thing I'm very agitated about this topic. So if I come off a little.
Completely understand why you'd be agitated as well.
So when I'm looking at the situation and he put her backpack outside of the van and he was having her wait outside of the van, it might be that he was concerned about her being in the vehicle with, to drive away or whatever. But then you think to yourself, well, why didn't he have her in the van and just take the keys? Or maybe there was something else in there he was concerned about. Maybe he was concerned about her safety. Maybe she was, maybe she said, she wanted to kill herself. Who knows? But let's say they had a fight and she says, you know what? I'm out of here. And then he doesn't know, did she kill herself? Did what happened? And then he's not sure what to do. And some people are very dependent on their parents in certain situations. So, I could see if Dorian was on this road trip with some girl and she's getting all crazy about stuff and then she up and leaves and then he I see him calling you, but let's say he shows back up at home because she's like, I don't want anything to do with you and I'm going to call the cops. They already had an interaction with the cops. And so, he doesn't know what happened, but he doesn't know where anything's going to go. What if he thinks that she went, or what if he saw her body? What if she killed herself and
All I'm saying is the fact that
I'm saying he probably knows something. I just don't know if he knows what happened or that he's responsible.
I'm almost certain he knows what happened. I'm not certain that he's responsible, but why even have an inclination to get a lawyer in the first place? There had to be something that happened that makes him want to get a lawyer.
If I was in an interaction with somebody where there was some chaos happened at a store and then cops pulled us over and the cops were involved in that situation, had to separate us and stuff.
That's not what happened.
And then that is what happened.
No, the cops sent them back on their merry way. And then...
Well, I didn't see the end of the body cam video. They told them, you cannot be together. So they said that they would drop him at a hotel and they because
Okay,
she had
we gotta check out the I get it. You know, you're right. A lot of this we gotta check out the dash cam video. For me right now, and maybe there will be something on the video, but for me right now, I don't see how he could not know what was going on. I just don't see it. The other thing is, if he doesn't have hostile, if he wasn't a viable suspect, then you came home without your fiance, and the first thing you do is lawyer up. You don't spearhead the let's find Gabby thing. Now again, that doesn't communicate guilt necessarily, but it does communicate
he knows something.
You know something.
Right, that's what I said. I said that from the beginning. I think he knows something, but I'm not willing to.
I'm damn near certain he knows what happened.
Oh my god!
Not only.
You're right, though. It's weird that he wouldn't spearhead a. Like if you were missing, there's nothing that you could do that would make me drive back in a van.
If there was a 0.5% chance that you were alive, like I wouldn't sleep. And again, you can't project what you would do onto another person.
No.
Because I would do things, I mean, you know, but you can look at common human behavior.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It is weird. That's weird.
When you go to marry a girl, you're saying, I want to be with you for the rest of my natural life. So you're saying there's 8 billion people in the world, 4 billion of which are women, but of all those women, you're the only one I want, blah. That's what you're saying when you engage with a girl. Mm-hmm. Then you're on YouTube. Everybody knows who you are. Not everybody, but I mean, if I did something to you, I would never get away with it. No, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I know.
So that's the thing where I'm like, I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. Like, you definitely know something. He definitely knows something.
It's weird.
I'm going to stay disciplined with the innocent until proven guilty. I'm going to stay disciplined with that, but holy shit. Yeah. I don't know.
So what are we doing? Are we going to the dash cam? What are we watching? I mean, this is obviously peculiar with these women.
I don't want to go to the dash cam yet. I want to save that for the next episode.
Bad for these women.
Because I want to really, really focus on these two ladies. Gabby's absolutely important. But
what do we know? Do we know more about these ladies?
All we know is they were married. They loved each other, obviously. And I want to say their names. I know it's kind of weird and hokey, but you know, guys, just bear with me, because you always know the name of the killer or whatever. So the older lady is Kylan Schultz, and her wife is Crystal Turner, 38. So that was them. And, you know, I mean, they died together. So, in that regard, but these two ladies also died. Now, I'm not saying that he killed them. All I'm saying is, on the way to wherever they were and where she was last seen, they stopped at a co-op that these two ladies owned. And apparently, Brian and Gabby had an explosive altercation at that place, and then they left. This lady, the older lady, had texted a friend and said that there was a guy around that was creeping them out. Okay, that's what we know about these two individuals.
That's God. You know what's the other thing too? That's I don't know. I can't remember what I was gonna say. That's horrible.
Hey, Sadie. The timing is crazy. But you know.
Yeah, and I remember when I saw the dash cam, like he did look like he kept wanting to like get into the van.
Yeah.
And you know they kept stopping him. So I don't know. Maybe there was. But it would make sense to take a weapon with you if you were gonna go.
Sure. Yeah, it does. And these two ladies were shot. And that's how they left. No disrespect, but I know people that run the cops if they, whether or not they're innocent or guilty. He's right. I mean, the idea that if somebody's running for the cops automatically means they're guilty. A lot of that has to do with you know, where you grew up, how you grew up, and certain privileges that certain people have that other people don't. Like from your vantage point, running from the cops is kind of weird. Like, why would you do that if you're innocent? Or
no.
Are you saying that now, or did you always believe
No,
that?
I wouldn't have said that always.
You would have said, hey.
I would have said, go tell them what happened. But now I'm like, no, there's too much. Maybe I've watched too many shows as well, like where information will get twisted. If something happened and somebody showed up, I wouldn't say a fucking word. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm going to say I don't know anything because they're going to take what you say and it's going to get twisted. And I don't want what I say to get twisted. So I'm not saying anything until I talk to a lawyer.
Yeah, well, not true. Because
that is true.
I can tell you why. We had a situation, it was actually Halloween, where somebody looked like he was trying to kill her. I mean, when I was there, but he was. Long story short, I'm in the shower. I'm changing. My son bangs on the door. He says, "We got to go right now." Right, my older, he was 14 at the. He's like, "We got to go right now." Actually, he just turned 15 because this is Halloween. He's like, "We got to go right now." I'm like half naked. I was like, "What are you talking about, Ross?" He's like, his name is Dorian. I said, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, somebody." So I didn't know what he was saying. All I saw was him dashing out of the house. So I go chase him. I didn't have any shoes. I think I had my shorts on. I go into the other house, and this guy is like on top of this woman, like beating the hell, like he, you know, and so we jumped in or whatever, got her out of the way, and then the cops showed up, and we talked to the cops, and then that guy filed a protection of abuse order against me. Did I tell you that? Yeah,
it depends on the situation. The situation, yeah, I know, I heard about that. That's stupid.
That shit was crazy. But you talked when the cops came over. You talked to him.
I didn't say shit to the cops. I wasn't here.
Oh, that's right.
It doesn't matter. Your point is well taken.
Dorian was the one that gave the statement, and the cop was like, "You got a future in law enforcement." Because Dorian was like, "The suspect did this," and
all those words
perpendicular to the line of the whatever. Yeah, and the cop was like, "Hey, man, you know, if you want, there's a career in law enforcement for you." Dorian was like, "No, it's not enough money in it." Yeah. But the point is that's why it's really interesting. That's one of the reasons why the fact that he's hiding doesn't necessarily mean he's guilty to me.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean that doesn't say to me.
But it does tell me he knows what happened. It tells me
he has suspicions.
He knows what happened, and
he knows something. And I think he knows something because I agree with you. It's a very weird thing that.
Why go to your lawyer?
That he would. No, that's not weird to me.
If nothing happened, why go to your lawyer? So, I'm not saying that he did it. I'm saying the fact that he went to his lawyer indicates that he knows something happened, and that he's going to be a suspect.
What if the last time he was saying that she was assaulting him? What if she did that again?
Well, she admitted.
Yep. This time he lost it and he slapped her and she slammed up against the van. And then she said, "You abusive motherfucker! I'm out of here!" And she takes off. And she says she's gonna go whatever. Like, and she's gone now.
Then why would he leave? If it was just that, why would he leave? Why would he run away?
I'm saying, like, if he assaulted her. And he's like, "Okay, this doesn't look good for me. I'm going home. I'm getting a lawyer. We're done with this relationship." But he left in her van.
He wasn't a divorce lawyer, though.
No, they weren't married. What kind of lawyer was it?
Well, it's a lawyer that's trying to that he wants protection from a criminal situation.
Okay, well, let's watch the dash cam or something, I guess.
But
a criminal thing. That's what I'm saying. If he slapped her around, and he went too far, but she wasn't dead. And then he knows he did something wrong, so he's not going to talk to anybody. He's talking to his lawyer because he knows he's in trouble.
How's that different from what I said?
I need to see proof that he did actually do this because...
Do what?
Kill her.
I'm not saying he killed her. What I'm saying is he knows... What I'm saying is he knows what happened.
He knows something. I don't know if he knows all of what happened. I'm saying if he did that and she took off and then she ended up dead, he doesn't know how that happened.
I think for me that the guy's definitely strange. I think a couple people were speculating, did he kill these two people and then she saw it and then she blew up at him, and then that's what we saw in the dash cam video was them trying to work out, you know, what they're gonna do, and then she decided, hey, I'm gonna tell the cops I can't do this, and then he kills her and he comes home. Like, right now, that looks very, very feasible.
It does.
Have you guys heard the release 911 call? No, Candy, we haven't. And I'm going to look that up right now. So, what do you think happened?
I don't know.
That's
I don't
the craziest...
know. But I'll tell you what's happening is all my life I've had a hatred toward men, and I would have said immediately, he's the guilty party in this. But I'm really trying to...
I see what you're saying.
To re-see things and say, well, is he the guilty party?
Right.
Because if this was my son and everybody's telling him to go kill himself, and
I agree.
I'm not good with that. Like, that's really, like, even if he did kill her, like, if my son did something like that, I still wouldn't want people telling him to go kill himself. I would not be happy, obviously, if he killed somebody. And I would, think that, I guess, justice is going to have to be done, obviously. But that would be like, but you don't have to tell him to kill himself. Like, he's going to have to face what he's got. I don't know.
I see what you're saying. Amy Lee, I was in a similar situation, only it was Department of Homeland Security was... they didn't arrest me. They just, how they put you to the side in the airport, looking over your papers and all that. And the guy was pretty angry at me because I wasn't supposed to be able to get into the country, but I did anyway. Anyway, Wyoming has the death penalty,
and that's where he would be tried. That's where he was that's where she was found.
So what we're gonna do, guys, we're gonna land the plane here because there's so many angles to this thing, and we really want to treat it with respect.
Yeah,
obviously,
I need to look into stuff.
Obviously, today I wanted to focus on the two ladies that died in the story that not many people are talking about. So there's that. But look, I think Sori's point is important in the sense of, we don't know what happened, and so when you don't know what happened and you're making all these pronouncements and judgments, I mean, that's crazy. People tell him to kill himself. Like, come on.
County Sheriff's Office. Hi, can you hear me, sir? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the 9/11 call This is a call that precipitated the pullover.
Oh.
In the dash cam video that we're going to be watching tomorrow.
Yep.
And I think I've got the transcript. By the way, thank you guys for the updates, because all the updates that I just gave you guys, all of them came from you guys in the first video. So keep it up. Okay, so here's the call, guys.
Hi, I'm
Can you turn the music off in the
right
background?
on the corner of
Yeah.
Main Street by Moonflower.
Let me turn off the music. Okay. And are you hearing it? For some reason, I can't hear very well in these headphones.
I was hearing
Is that plugged in all the way?
loud and clear. Nope, it wasn't. It is now.
Okay, well, that explains it. Okay, guys, so here is the 9/11 call. Are you hearing anything?
Nope.
Let's try this a third time. Here is the 9/11 call. And now it doesn't work.
Well, while you're getting that. Okay, so can you say this guy's name?
Estardo?
Yeah.
Estuardo?
He says, sorry, you're saying, what about if it's my son, this and that, but what if it's our daughter? Will you think the same? I also have daughters. And if my thing is, this girl has already died and we don't know what happened. The boy possibly is still alive and we don't know what happened. So to tell him in the comment sections and stuff that he should go hang himself, I'm thinking about if that was my son. If it was my daughter, I still don't want us to say those horrible things if the person didn't do it. Like, if the guy did it, then just let justice be served. But I'm saying we don't know that, and this is still somebody's son. And if somebody accused my kid of something and then was telling him to go, kill himself in a comment section, that's awful. We don't know that he did it. And if we don't know he did it, then we should hold our judgment back and wait.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I still believe that he knows. To me, it's very obvious that he knows what happened. To me, I'm not saying that, he's completely guilty. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I believe that he knows. We're gonna save the dash cam thingy actually for tomorrow instead of today. That makes more sense.
Yeah, that's what you said. But you said you were going to pay.
I was going to play the transcript, but I'm going to play the 9/11 call and the transcript tomorrow when we actually watch the video because it'll dovetail right into it.
Okay.
Okay, so for today, guys, what we know is we've got two women who were killed at a co-op. These are the two ladies right here, and that Gabby and Brian stopped at their establishment, Moonshine something or other, Moonstone or whatever. It was a co-op, and they were observed having an explosive altercation.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I think it was Moonflower.
Moonflower. They were observed having. Gabby and Brian were observed having an explosive altercation at this establishment. One of the ladies texted her friend and said that there's a creepy guy here. And shortly thereafter, these two ladies ended up dead. And then within 7 days, Gabby ended up dead as well. And so that's where we are right now. But these two ladies, rest in peace to them. Much respect to them. Kylan Schulte and her wife, Crystal Turner, 38. Both found dead with gunshot wounds. So,
boy,
brutal stuff. Brutal.
It is peculiar that. Well, we're gonna have to watch that tomorrow. We'll get into it tomorrow because we'll have to do that dash cam footage and then, body cam footage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
Yeah. So there you go, guys. Horrible situation. Horrible situation. Joe to go in his super chat says people are really heated about this. I made a joke about him being guilty until being proven innocent and got called an incel. Hold off on the edgy jokes. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not something to joke about. Somebody's lost their life, but your point is taken. I mean, people are still innocent until proven guilty. The problem is that he's not talking. So it's hard to maintain that innocent until proven guilty ethos when the guy who's a prime suspect disappears and won't talk and then lawyers up immediately. I can't believe that you don't see that the lawyer thing is pretty damning to me. Maybe it's because I grew up watching too much Law and Order, but
yeah,
the minute that the guy gets the lawyer, I mean, that to me, you go to a lawyer and not a search party or not getting to the media.
That is weird. I agree with you.
That tells me that you know that she's dead. It doesn't tell me you did it. It just tells me right now what I believe. Okay, there's two beliefs that I have. One belief is that he didn't necessarily do it, but he knows exactly what happened. Mm-hmm. But he believes because of the interaction with the cops that he's not going to get a fair shake and he's going to get blamed for it. Okay, so that's one theory. My other theory is he absolutely did it. He killed those two women, and then he was telling Gabby, "Just shut up. It's okay. We're in a cross country thing. Nobody will ever suspect us, and we're moving on." And she couldn't handle it. They got into an altercation. That's what you're seeing when the cop stops, and then after the cop stopped, he killed her and left. Those are the two theories that I have in my head, and they're all over the place. I get it, but that's what I feel.
How long after they left the cops did she? Nobody knows, right?
Yeah, because all we know is he showed up at the end of August, August 29th or 30th, and then he lawyered up on September 1st. And to Raul's point, I mean, he may have lawyer and retainer. I mean, we've got attorney and retainer, but. So, I mean, I suppose, but most people don't just generally have an attorney on retainer. You know what I'm saying? Most people don't do that. I mean, does your mom and dad, you guys grew up with them having an attorney on retainer?
Oh, my parents that's a different story. They were self-employed, so you had to be ready for if somebody said my roof is leaking or whatever, and they try to sue you. Yeah, my parents were self-employed, so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, I don't think that the lawyer thing actually makes him guilty. It just tells me, okay, you know something. At minimum, it tells me that he knows something and that he doesn't want to have that conversation. So,
or what if he said, I'm done with this, and he left her? Like, because when I saw the video, the cops were saying she's gonna have to go one way, he's gonna have to go another way. And so what if he just said, you know what, I'm not doing this with you? Although there would have been a message. I don't know.
I mean, if we have conversations like that, there's a whole thing of text, right? I mean, I'm assuming that they you know, and to MJ's point, most people can't afford a lawyer. And especially for something as high, you know, I don't know.
Middle Earth, you are not. Are you really? You can't be.
It wouldn't surprise me if Middle Earth was
Really?
an attorney.
Interesting.
No, with his personality and all that shit. All right, guys. There you go. We're doing another update tomorrow,
Come back
and
tomorrow with more
we are. You know, there's also political stuff happening, which you know that's
Everybody
coming.
keeps saying that this is to distract from the actual political stuff that's happening.
What? Yeah, somebody said that in the comment section, and I didn't even want to address it.
I've seen it come up actually a couple times.
Because distract from what? What is there a distraction
Well,
from?
this affects 3 people and their families, but if, you know, all of a sudden, like, Biden was slipping this thing under the radar that was going to make it so you could, you know, if, you know, like, remember how she did that thing, Kamala did that thing where if your kids didn't go to school, you could get arrested?
Yeah.
Like, if it was something like that, like, you and your children will be arrested. That got slid right under while we're all focused on this. Like, I think that's what they mean by the bigger issue. Well, the bigger issue is what affects the most people. And so this affects 3 people and their families, where something like that would affect a lot more people. And so if they were trying to sneak that by putting...
Yeah, I just think that's a lazy response. It's the same thing that happened when all the UFO, they're like, oh, it's a distraction from something else. Or this is a human interest story, and she was on YouTube and Instagram and all the rest of it, and now she's dead. Like, the other thing is people can walk and chew gum at the same time. Like, we could talk about the story and know that last week we killed 11 innocent people in Afghanistan. The thing that gets me about this whole, oh, this is a distraction thing is to me, it overestimates the American consumer. Americans know that we're in illegal wars. We don't care. We don't do anything. We got lied into an illegal war. We had our current president said that he would veto a Medicare for all bill if it came to his desk during a pandemic. Like, we accept all that shit. The government doesn't need to hide anything from us. We just accept it. Oh, we killed 11 people. Okay. I mean, how many people did anything about that? How many people even said anything about that? Oh, we bodied those people. Okay. So this idea that the government has to do this to, like, distract us or what? Because if we really know what's going on, Americans are going to do something.
That's true.
We ain't going to do shit.
That's true.
We let these motherfuckers lie us into a war and spend $300 billion a day to kill innocent people who did nothing to us. And we knew it, and we didn't do shit. So why does the government need to distract us? For what? Because we're going to have some, like, armed resistance? They spent $3 trillion of our money to murder people that we don't have a problem with. Do you have a problem with Abdul Rahman over there in Yemen, who we killed? You don't have a problem with him. So this whole idea that the government constantly has to put stuff out there to distract us from what?
Yeah, that's true. That's valid.
Guys. Joe Biden is our president.
Right. You all stood back and let that happen.
I want you to think about that.
That's true. It's very much true.
Joe Biden is the most powerful human being on the planet, and it happened on our watch. Our government isn't trying to distract us, bro. That's not what's happening. You're overestimating the average American. Period.
Well, there you have it. We'll be back tomorrow or the day after for more of an update. And I'm going to actually look into more of this myself. I misunderstood what we were doing here because usually you have the news and you bring it to me and I react to your story of the news. But this one's going to be run a little bit differently, I suppose. So, anyway. Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane, this situation.
I know.
But I do want to say, though, And I'm a little bit insulted at the idea that this is a distraction because it's a human being's life that was taken. And not only her, as we've just discussed, there are other two beautiful human beings who loved each other and had created a business that was beneficial to their community, because that's what co-ops are. So these two ladies had done something amazing for their community and with each other in their own lives. And now they're just completely snuffed out. And that is not a distraction. If anything, I'm glad that we're able to center these two ladies in and look, ladies,
to hug them.
Look, ladies. If I really, I just, you know, we talked about this before. I don't even know what to do security wise because there's so many variables. You're out there, but at least have somebody that's safe that you can check in with. And the other thing too is to trust your gut. You know, I can't tell you how many times girls have said, it's just something's funny about that guy.
Yeah, and then turned out it was a bad situation. Yep. Yeah. And there was, you know, we were watching that. I don't know if you remember the guy's name. He was like preying on like younger girls. Mm-hmm. And he was a serial killer, and he would put like he had like a bandage that he would stick on his arm, so it made it look like his arm was broken, but it really wasn't. And he would say, "Oh, can you really help me with this? I'm having some trouble." And he would, you know, prey off the fact that the girls were sympathetic and wanting to be helpful, even though against their better judgment, they were like, And there was that who was? Yeah. And there was one girl that was, he said, "Hey, can you help me? I need to push my car has broken down. Can you just steer while I just push it over to the side?" And then she said that she got into the car. I'm pretty sure that was how it went. She got into the car, and when she got behind the steering wheel, she had a really, really bad feeling. And she said, "You know what? I'm not going to take the chance here." And she took off running out of the car, and he kept calling her back. She didn't go missing that night. Another girl within the vicinity ended up going missing. And then she had survivor's guilt and stuff because she was like, well, if it was me, then it would have been that girl, and now it was that girl because it wasn't me. But he was, like, she said, I had a really bad feeling about it, but that she went along with it. And I think that these kinds of situations, like you said, follow your intuition. If you have a bad feeling about it, just get yourself out of the situation. Don't take the chance. You know, tomorrow you can, you know, if you were wrong, tomorrow's a new day. But if you make the mistake and you were right and you didn't listen to yourself, well.
And Amy's point is also true. There's a lot of trans deaths happening without anyone caring. See, when people say, oh, this is a distraction, and I'm not trying to jump on anybody, I promise you, but that to me indicates a sort of mentality of, hey, this doesn't directly affect me. Whereas a couple of foreign policy issues in the media right now directly affect me. So that's what we should be talking about. The things that are directly relevant to me. These three people are dead. I don't care. And like, I get it, man. I get it. But for me, when we're fighting for Medicare for all, or you're fighting to not kill innocent people in Afghanistan, it's all for the same reason, because we value human life as the pinnacle of sentience in this planet. Mm-hmm. And so if it's a macro issue where thousands of people could potentially die, or a micro issue where 2 or 3 people die, it's the same issue. It's the same issue. And so that's why we're focusing on top of that, Trans women are disappearing every year. Nobody fucking talks about that. Native American people disappear every year. I knew about that 6, 7, 8, 9 months ago. I didn't do a shit about it until this girl happened. So to me, this is indicative. This is almost like a working out of me trying to be consistent with my own ethos. Mm-hmm. So yes, I worry about big picture issues like Afghanistan and things like that, but I also worry about these two ladies who are now dead, and there you go. So and I also think it's a really, really good thing that you guys have all the shit, because you know people on this forum are extremely, you know, aware of what's happening politically and all that, and sometimes it gets exhausting. And so for you guys to still be diligent and think through this stuff and care about this girl is it's good for me to see, you know, because sometimes shit like this happens and you feel like, man, fuck humanity. Mm-hmm. So it's been really cool. So there you go, guys. Part 2's coming up very, very soon. Also, we've got friends who are, in my opinion, the best at this. And the name of the name of the YouTube channel is actually called The Misery Machine.
Yeah.
These people get into true crime. Some of you guys know. When we were going through the whole Anna Kasparian thing, I talked about people. I talked about a young lady who was basically went missing, and then one of our coworkers killed her, and all the rest of it. Jess and that whole group covered all that, and that's why they got into true crime. They got into true crime because we all experienced it and lived it. You know, FBI, National Geographic was there. That was weird. We had. America's Most Wanted guy, the whole 9 yards. So they were in. So the Misery Machine, like that's what they do, and that's what inspired them. A lot of times, like I don't want to diss anybody, but a lot of times, it's it's about morbid curiosity and things like that. Whereas with them, it's to me anyway, it looks like it's about.
And what it basically said was no services.
What are you doing?
That was just a clip from the Misery Machine.
Oh.
Okay, guys. So there you go. We're gonna get out of here. Much love to all of y'all, for real. And ladies, please stay safe. You know, if you have any indication the guy's a weirdo, fucking get out of there. And if he's a good dude, he'll understand.